Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Rini Bosov and I'm the real estate sales consultant at Two Futures. Two Futures is the largest developer of luxury residential development in Mauritius. I'd like to introduce today's presenters who have been pre-recorded as they could not attend the live webinar. We've got Gregory Harter-Keating, who's a notary here in Mauritius, and we've got Felicia Twala, Senior Relationship Manager from Absa Bank Mauritius. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. I'd love to hear from you during our session. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in our chat room at your control panel. At the end, we will have time for a Q&A. So please pop your questions in the questionnaire. A recorded session of the webinar will also be available, and we will share this with you afterwards. I would like to introduce to you our first pre-recorded guest speaker, Gregory Harter-Keating.
I'm now speaking to Gregory Harter-Keating, a notary in Mauritius. Notaries play a key role in facilitating the purchase of property in Mauritius, and Gregory is the key notary for the essence. He's going to take us through the legal process of Mauritius and when buying a property in Mauritius. Welcome, Gregory.
Thank you, Rini. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. What legal system does Mauritius fall?
Well, Mauritius is a hybrid system, in fact, where English and French law are combined. It's quite unique in the world, and in fact, it's a subject of studies from a lot of lawyers around the world.
Mm-hmm. And how can buyers obtain permanent residency in Mauritius?
Well, permanent residence can be obtained through a different scheme, and one of them is through buying properties in Mauritius. There are different schemes which have been created a long time, over the last 10 or so years. And you've got different schemes which are called, commonly called PDS, or IRS, or RES, or Ground Plus 2, which are different schemes with different little tickle in them, but which mainly on purchase of a property of $375,000 US price or more, grants you the right to get a resident permit. What's interesting with a resident permit is that, in fact, it allows you to apply for a resident permit on the purchase of a property. For example, if it's a property that you purchase off-plan, which you are not ready to use yet, you can already, from the registration of your deed of sale, apply for the permit and you get the resident permit within the next 6 to 8 weeks. So very interesting and practical for those who would like to come in and be a resident in Mauritius, although their property is not completed yet.
And would you say that Mauritius is a safe destination to invest in?
Definitely. As I said, the Mauritian system is based on French and English law, and the civil law is French, very protective of the end buyer. Maybe coming back one step, first, Mauritius is a safe place because it's a stable country, and with politics which is a very European style, if I may say it like that, and with laws which are based on the French Code Napoleon, so strong civil code, and that's our context. Now, it's also very safe because you've got a notary who is at the center of a transaction. The notary is the only lawyer who is authorized to deal with property transaction. And as opposed to Anglo-Saxon system where each of the parties have got their legal advisor conveyancer, notary is responsible for both parties' information and protecting of rights and obligations. So it's a kind of referee which stands in the middle, which is very protective.
Okay.
Now, on the different type of properties you can purchase, the notary will be responsible for verifying over the last 30 years that there is no mortgage, no servitude, or that the property really belongs to a person who is selling it to a buyer. So there's a good protection. And also, the different type of sales which are possible, and the sales of plants, for example, are very well protected. Mm-hmm. You have got 2 periods in those sales, where you have got a pre-contract period and the sale period. In the pre-contract period, it's a time where the promoter is proposing a property or project for sale when it has not started. In this period of time, an interested buyer, although he's not sure that the project will go ahead, is safe because the deposit he makes is made on an escrow account to his name on the client's account of a notary, which means that if this project does not go ahead, then the money is safe and is returned to him, or if he wants to not to purchase the property for reasons which are implied, for example, he doesn't get his authorization to purchase, he gets his money back.
Okay, great.
During the construction, is also protected. We mustn't forget that he's buying off-plan, so the property is not built up yet. He's got a guarantee from the bank, but if ever the promoter fails to complete, the bank will provide the funds to complete the property.
And that's what we call a GFA, that's correct?
Yeah, that's a GFA, which is a French acronym, which would not work in English, but it's a French acronym for the guarantee. Very important, this GFA, the guarantee, is unlimited. That is, it's not on for 50 million rupees, 100 million rupees. It is until the unit is completed, the bank will have to provide the funds.
Okay.
So it's very safe. And you're also protected for the after-sale period, if I may say, in the sense that in Mauritius you've got a decennial guarantee on all that is structural and a biannual guarantee for everything that is not structural. And this guarantee is covered by an insurance that every promoter must take, so that they are covered in case there are problems on this issue later, where the client can go back to the insurance if the promoter is not there anymore.
And how many years are those insurance?
So the decennial guarantee is for 10 years on structure and 2 years on non-structural from the moment the property is delivered.
Okay, great. And can you tell the viewers a little bit about the VIFA, the structure?
Yeah, so the VIFA structure itself, so we've got this pre-phase contract where you have the preliminary reservation contract which is signed. When the client signs this, the CRP, we call it a CRP,
Yes.
will mention the duration of the CRP, that is the time during which a promoter can offer the sale or withdraw if the project is not a success.
And that CRP is valid for 12 months if it's an off-plan development.
It is valid for 12 months if you are asking up to 25% deposit.
Yes.
It is valid, you can have one for 2 years if you're asking only 2% deposit.
Okay.
And it could be for no amount of years specific if there's zero deposit. But the current practice is we're going for a 12 months period in Mauritius and in your projects.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is for a CRP. The CRP will be accompanied by the plans which are showing how the unit will be built in the future, about the specification summary, the type of materials used, what is proposed with the villa, so the client knows exactly what he's buying, and also, of course, the price and potential scale of payment or for the price along the construction of the property. So this will be the CRP. Now, once the promoter fulfills all his conditions, that is, the marketing is a success, he has all his permits, and the client is authorized to purchase by the Economic Board of Development of Mauritius, then we go to a sale, and the sale goes on with all the conditions of the sales, which basically mentions the date of delivery of a unit, its price again, the parties, precise description of a property, and all the conditions that apply to a sale, mainly the guarantees we just talked about, and the conditions under which the duration of a contract until delivery may be extended for act of God or legitimate causes of suspension of delays.
Okay. And Gregory, are there different structures that a buyer can purchase in?
Yeah, we've got a very flexible system, and I must say that our hybrid legal system certainly helps here, in the sense that you could either purchase under your own name or under French-orientated systems, which is a société, or English influence vehicles, which will be companies, trust, or foundation. It's not easy to say which one is the best. In fact, what is nice is everybody has his tool to meet his requirements. That's an interesting part.
What's the difference, because I know some of our viewers are familiar with a trust in their own countries, but what's the difference between society civil in Mauritius versus a trust? Like, can you just explain those two different structures?
In a few words, a société civile has got legal personality, and it's a French-based kind of unlimited liability PLC, if I could say it like that. That is, partners create a legal person which owns their property, and but this legal person does not have his liability limited to a share capital of a society. The interesting part with the societies are that it has very low cost of administration afterwards. In fact, virtually no cost of administration at the moment, and it allows you to manage a property easier afterwards. For example, if you buy a property at 2 persons, the manager will determine who is the beneficiary of the resident permit based on that. Interesting. The trust is a different entity in the sense that the trust has no legal personality. You put a property in the hands of a third party to be managed to the benefit of beneficiaries. It's not commonly used in the French law. In fact, the French law forbids trust, so it's not very well practiced. But the trust is, what's nice with the trust is that it's very flexible. You can basically prepare your trust agreement with every condition you would want to. But in Mauritius, it has got a lower influence in the sense that you've got forced heirship rules applying in Mauritius, and it sometimes contravenes with the trust possibilities to be flexible.
Okay. And what strict compliance applies to KYC documents?
Well, we said the way to purchase is very flexible. You can create actually the vehicle you want, but it doesn't mean that we don't need to be very careful in terms of compliance. We are at the moment reviewing, the country is reviewing fully the whole sets of compliance requirements, and everybody is getting used to it now. But basically, I would recommend that people avoid, if you don't want to lose too much time, to avoid too complex legal schemes to vehicles to purchase, and we must be aware that source of funds will be checked, and until we meet like international European level of compliance.
Gregory, one last question. What in case of a succession?
Well, in terms of succession, in Mauritius, the terms are very favorable in the sense that first, there is no succession tax in Mauritius, so the client does not need to bother about it. For Mauritius, for his foreign country or his country in which he comes from, it will be different. And in terms of authorization, it's important to know that although you need to be authorized to own a property in Mauritius at first, your heirs do not need to be authorized. They are, as of right, entitled to be the owner of a property, be it the children, or a child, if there is only one, or any legator to which you might bequeath the property. They are automatically entitled to be the owner of a property. One point in terms of succession, which is important also, a resident permit, if it's in the individual name, of course, if there are more than one heir, the client or the heirs of the client will need to notify the development board of which of the heir will be the holder of that resident permit as from the time of death. So it's a good thing, but if he has a will, eventually to dedicate as from this will who he would like to be the owner of a resident permit at the time of his death, if it is of importance or one of his child.
Okay. So thank you, Gregory, for explaining to our viewers about the legal structure here in Mauritius, and we appreciate your time for being here today.
Thank you for having me once again. It was a pleasure.
I am fortunate to work for the best residential developer in Mauritius. Two Futures was established in 2007. For the last 14 years, Two Futures have a footprint that extends across the island. We focus mainly on the north coast and the west coast. What I love about Two Futures is we have an established brand with a track record of more than 800 luxury homes and offices under construction or delivered. Two Futures' purpose is to deliver top quality projects, offering exceptional lifestyle with a variety of developments. As indicated by this map, our projects run across the northern coastline from Grand Gobe to Point of Pimor. And also in the west coast, we have Tamarin, we've got Manta Cove in Tamarin Bay. We have a variety of projects with key resorts starting from $269,000. We offer payment plan on selective units, deposits as little as $10,000, bank completion guarantee, 10-year external building construction guarantee, 2-year internal warranty, and 2 features also assist all our buyers with their permanent residency application from start to finish.
Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our new project, The Essence. 2 Futures, in collaboration with Alizé Resort Management, are launching a luxury resort residence with exclusive hotel privileges. This PDS is one of its kind in the north. The architecture is done by the award-winning Stefan Antony from Sauta, designed in a barefoot luxury style for permanent stay or short-term rental. Situated on the north of Mauritius, Trou Beach has one of the most beautiful beaches with crystal clear water, exceptional sunsets, restaurants, bars and shops. Now we will play the video.
When it's feeling right, it's like a million. Nothing in the way. Ooh, it's so deep in the way I feel. Ooh, it's so love now I'm feeling here. Turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. It's all love, oh yeah, when it feels so right. It's all love to bring you to the light. It's all love, oh yeah, when it feels so right. Feel that love, feel that love within. I'm throwing shade at the bad vibes. I'm happy all the way. Ooh, it's all love now I'm feeling here. Turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. It's all love, oh yeah, when it feels so right. It's all love to bring you to the light. It's all love, oh yeah, when it feels so right. Feel that love within. And it's real. I wanna feel, I can get it 'cause it's all love. And it's real.
Oh, can you imagine living here? Homeowners also have access to this, private access to this swimming beach in front of the Le Cardinal Hotel. They can enjoy the facilities of the beach bar and the kiosk umbrellas on the beach. Residents will have access to both of the hotels, which is the Le Cardinal Exclusive Hotel, a 5-star, and Casuarina Resort and Spa. Residents benefit from a range of tailor-made services, some of which is included in their levies, and other service as a la carte. With over 40 years of hotel experience, Alizé Resort Management will manage the rental management service for buyers aiming to invest for a strong rental return. The Essence will benefit from an overflow of guest bookings at the hotel. The Essence is a PDS development and buyers will obtain permanent residency with only 5 villas, 37 apartments, 7 penthouses with spacious verandas and private splash pool, underground parking, communal swimming pool, storeroom, gym, clubhouse with dining facilities, kids play area, tennis and paddle tennis courts, vegetable garden for sustainable living, lifts and stair, gives you access to your units, and we also have furniture packs as optional. At The Essence, a secure access leads you to a tropical oasis which features villas and apartments with generous spaces. and volumes. These materials of wood and Mauritian volcanic rock gives the facade an authentic look. Apartments with either 2 or 3 bedroom ensuite with basement parking for each unit, storeroom, scullery, and a yard. Prices for the apartments starting as from $375,000 US. Our penthouses, your home in the sky, either with a 2 or 3 bedroom ensuite configuration, open plan leading you to the spacious verandas with the private splash pools, basement parking, storeroom, scullery, yard, and prices from $521,000 US. This beautiful bedroom, you can see we've used oak wood paneling in the bedrooms. They're ensuite and they're quite spacious. The villas, they're positioned along a tree-lined driveway with only 5 villas available with either 3 bedroom or 4 bedroom configuration. A polished concrete and oak wood finish, double garage with direct access to your scullery, open plan kitchen and living room, covered terrace with pergola and pool, study and storeroom. Prices range from $1.35 million US. See, this is such a beautiful layout. The doors will tuck away in the room, so it will give you that complete openness feel from an indoor and outdoor living room. Now, I would like to welcome our second guest speaker, that she's also been pre-recorded. Felicia Twala takes the lead.
I often get asked the question if a foreigner can apply for a bank loan in Mauritius when they purchase a property here. Today I'm sitting with Felicia Twala, Senior Relationship Manager of Absa Bank Mauritius, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about the processes and procedures when you apply for a bank loan. Welcome, Felicia.
Thank you, Renee. I'm very happy to be here and look forward to having a great conversation with you.
Perfect. So tell me, Felicia, I know Absa Bank has quite a big footprint in South Africa, but you guys are international as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what you guys do and offer for the buyer if they apply for a home loan?
Definitely, Renee. Absa is one of the top 5 banks in South Africa. We are listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. We have operations in 12 countries across the continent. We're actually a Pan-African bank with also presence in the United Kingdom and the United States of America. Specifically in Mauritius, where I am, we are a fully fledged bank with a full suite of service offerings in both retail bank, business banking, and corporate and investment banking. The area I'm in retail banking, I'm in a segment called Premier Banking, which services your private banking up to high net worth individuals, and we offer services, a full suite of banking services that include and not limited to opening of check accounts, foreign currency accounts, local rupee accounts. We also offer credit facilities in the form of credit cards, overdraft facilities, auto loans, and more excitingly, we also have a home loan proposition that caters not only to Mauritian-based customers, but to customers who are not based in Mauritius, but they would love to purchase property in Mauritius, but would like to part finance that acquisition. We have a very good offering when it comes to that.
Now, I'm glad you are mentioning the home loans because that I want more detail on. So, up to what age can you get a bank loan as a foreigner in Mauritius?
So Renee, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to unpack our offering for you because as I mentioned previously, we have 2 types of customers. We have ones who live and work in Mauritius, and we have those who are foreign-based individuals, and that's the team that I'm in. That's actually the area that I specialize in. So we provide finance to private individuals up to the age of 65. Our loans are offered up to 70% loan to value based on the purchase price of the property. Our interest rates are as well very competitive on rupee loans, where we offer between 3.35% and 3.15%. We do also offer other currencies in terms of home loans. If a client wants to buy property in US dollars or euros, for those rates we would need to get pricing, because our home loan proposition is tailor-made for each individual. But on the rupee side, as I previously mentioned, our rates range between 3.35% and 3.15%.
And tell me, what if someone actually wants to repay this loan before that specific period that he took it out on?
Not a problem, Rini. So our home loan offering, we actually do cater for clients who wish to settle their facilities sooner, whereby we don't levy penalty charges. For a client who's decided that, actually, Felicia, I may have contracted for 10 years, but now I've come up to some funds and I wish to settle my obligation sooner. It's not an issue with us.
So Felicia, what type of documents would the buyer then submit if they apply for a bank loan?
Really, that would entirely depend on each individual situation. Typically you will have a professional or you'll have a self-employed person. Obviously, the first stage is to sign a loan application form with us, and we would also work closely with you because from the time that the client makes his intention known that he is purchasing a property, there's certain information that you would require from that customer, and we would just all work together to ensure that we make the process as seamless as possible for the end user.
So Felicia, how long does that process take once the client submitted all their documents?
Really, once we have all the documents, we can turn around a loan with an offer letter within a period of 14 to 21 working days. But moreover, even throughout that process, the client is kept abreast with feedback to say this is where we are with the process, so that the client never feels that I've submitted a request and I don't know what is happening. So we always walk the journey with the customer to make sure that they know exactly where we are in the process. But to put it simply, between 14 and 21 working days, we are able to turn loans around.
Wow, that's incredible. So Felicia, just to recap, our foreign clients can definitely get a bank loan from Absa Mauritius, and they can get up to 70% loans at an interest rate of 3.15 to 3.35, and they can repay at an earlier duration than what they expected to pay for their loan. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak to you today, and we're looking forward to collaborate with you. And if any of our viewers are interested in a loan, we can definitely introduce them to Felicia, Senior Relationship Manager of Absa Bank Mauritius. Thank you, guys.
We will go ahead and take some time for questions now. Just a reminder, please feel free to pop your questions in the control panel below. So let's have a look at, okay, so one question we got, okay, so people want to know about the syndic fees. So the syndic fees varies between the size of your unit. So the 2-bedroom apartments, they're starting from 11,000 rupees for syndic fees. And according to the size of your unit, we will calculate that for you. Who will take care of the syndic fees? Is Casuarina Resort Management will be present at the first AGM meeting, so they will definitely be able to head that process for all the buyers. Let me just see, how long would construction take? Okay, so construction we estimate the construction to go over 2 years. So once we've reached the GFA level, that means we have to sell 70% of the construction before we can start construction. And then, so we need to, yes, just to recap, we need to sell 70% of the development before we can get the GFA from the bank. so that we can then start construction, and that period will flow over 2 years. Okay, let's have a look. After signing the deed of sale, the project is hit. Okay, so in Mauritius it works differently. We sign the deed of sale when we reach the 70% of sales. So then afterwards, we would then apply for your permanent residency. So over the duration of construction, we will do the application for your permanent residency. We've got another question. What about sea views? So we will have the penthouses in Block B will have partial sea views. So definitely, if you are specifically looking for a unit that will have nice views, the penthouses will have incredible views. Block C and Block A will have views over the pool, and Block B will have also views over the pool, but also some of the penthouses will have partial sea views. Okay. So Warren was asking, when you buy in a joint name, do both parties get permanent residency? So we've just had a budget speed on Friday in Mauritius, and permanent residency is for husband and wife and kids. Normally it used to be 24 years, but they waived that now. So it's husband and wife and kids have permanent residency. Okay, I've got another question. Do you have any ready to move in property in the Essence at the present? No. So the Essence is an off-plan development. We are launching it at today is our official launch. Although we do have other developments like Key Residence, which is delivering this year, which is move-in ready. We've got Key Resort Apartments, which is under construction, which is move-in ready in 2023. We've got Le Residence de Montjazzy, which is we are busy with completion and handover of the units, which is move-in ready. So we have a basket full of developments that we can offer to you in different time frames of delivering. Okay, then we've got also a question we see a lot of clients are asking, when are the borders opening? So Mauritius have launched an announcement over the weekend that borders are opening from the 15th of July to the 30th of July, which let me just see, they're going to allow, it's a partial opening for clients to fly in. And as from the 1st of October, the island will be open. There are some restrictions, so we will communicate that on a one-on-one basis as and when we get the news. Okay, now we've got another question. Okay. Are there any additional costs on top of the purchase price? Yes. So in Mauritius, we don't have rates and taxes, but we do have additional costs, which is on top of your purchase price. You've got 5% government registration tax, 1% plus VAT notary fee, and 50,000 rupee EDB administration costs on top of your purchase price. The only ongoing costs would be your utility bills and your syndic fees. Okay, any other questions? For the source of funds, cryptocurrency is accepted? No, not yet in Mauritius. Sorry, Mauritius is not, the banks in Mauritius is not accepting that at the moment. I'm sure in the near future they will look into that. Could you share the detailed information packages? Okay. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking on this one, but I will contact you in a one-on-one email, and I can just find out a little bit more about what you are asking here. Warren, are any of the floor plans available to view? Yes. So as from today, we will have our floor plans available for you to have a look at. We've got the prices as well. Craig is asking, are any pets allowed? Yes, Craig. Pets normally, I would say, you know, as a buyer, you would form part of a homeowners association which you will be able to vote when you're in a board. Preferably the people on the ground floor, which the ground floor units have a garden space. I would advise, if you are looking at bringing in pets, rather look at a ground floor instead of you know, first or second floor. But that's definitely something that you will have to decide as homeowner association, if what type of pet. If it's a pet that's well managed, it's definitely something that you can discuss with the homeowners association. Let's see what cash is acceptable. So as Gregory mentioned to us in the payment, when purchasing off plan, you sign a CRP, and then a 10% deposit is required if it's an off plan development. Once we've reached the 70% sales, we would then require additional 15% because we have to sign deed of sale at the 25% purchase or payment. And then that payment goes through the notary's escrow account. And then payment will be according to the different building levels of construction over the 2 years. Let's have, there's another Craig. Thank you, Craig. Is there guarantee rental? No. So for this development, there's no guarantee rental agreement in place because this is a Alizé Resort Management has run resorts for over 40 years. They feel quite confident in what they've done. They've got a good track record with the 2 resorts, Le Cardinal, which is on the beachfront, and Casuarina as well. They do feel confident. We can look at the rentals between 3.5% to 7-8%, depending on which unit you take and depending on the occupancy rate per year. But if you do want to delve a little bit deeper into the rental agreement figures, the rental yields, we will communicate that with you on a one-on-one basis, because we actually have to see which unit you are selecting, because they do have different performances. Yes, so Mauritius, Pierre, you were asking about the FICA process. So Mauritius have a process which we called a KYC, Know Your Client process. And that's a due diligence we have to do on each buyer. So the documents that you would require are certified proof of residence with your physical address on it, passport, and what the buyer's occupation is. So if the clients are looking to purchase, these documents needs to be in place when we sign the CRP. Okay, Warren, we've got another question. Yes, so Warren's asking, will we have access to the beach? Yes, of course. There's a golf cart giving you access. So if you, as a family, you decide to go to the beach, you just phone the concierge service at the hotel. You arrange for the golf cart to collect you. It's only 280 meters from the Essence to the beach, but if you don't feel like walking, you can just phone the concierge service, ask them to come and collect you. A golf cart will take you, which is free of charge as part of your syndic fee, will take you to the beach. So you can pack your beach bag for the day, you and your family, and you can enjoy the beach. There are about 42 umbrellas, first come, first serve, but if you have a function you would like to book a spot, you can always just ask the concierge service to do that for you. Okay, great. So I think we've kind of covered all our questions. Thank you guys for participating with us in today's webinar. If you'd like to speak to one of our sales consultants, please feel free to contact me on my email or WhatsApp. to discuss the project in more detail. We thank you again for joining us today, and we'd like to see you next time.